ridiculous. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another vlog number 2. Today, I am starting a little challenge of trying to write for 8 hours a day for 2 days. I didn't want to just do one day because I wasn't sure if I'd get enough footage. This challenge is inspired by Brandon Sanderson. He is a fantasy and science fiction writer that has written the Mistborn series and the Stormlight Archive. I recently finished reading the Mistborn Era 1. Right now even, I'm reading Mistborn Secret History, which I'm really enjoying. For his writing routine, it is pretty well known that he is a night writer, and I am pretty much the opposite. I cannot stay up nearly as late as he does. And so I am basically taking the time amount that he writes instead and working with that. So he does 2 4-hour chunks of writing, and so I'm gonna do like 7:45 till 11:45, and then I'll take a lunch break, and then I'll try and do another 4 hours in the afternoon. That's the situation. I am currently on chapter 21 in my revisions. I just have my little tracker behind me. Let's get to writing. I always forget to introduce myself. In case you guys are new here, hello. My name is Bridget. I am currently working on my first big novel project, which I'm calling Project Pawn. It's a Greek mythology mystery. If you want like the whole backstory, I do talk about it more in my last video, but also if you guys want a whole video about it, then I'm happy to do that. So let me know down in the comments if you want to hear about this project. Now let's get into writing. Okay, so it's currently 9 o'clock, 9:01 to be specific, but I have reached a point in this manuscript where I need to do some other brainstorming, because at one point in the story, the main character is singing like a folk song of her homeland. And so I'm going to spend some time trying to figure out a bit more about that song. I do have like a bit of it, but I kind of want to rework it so that it makes more sense and ties into the plot a bit more. So I'm gonna do a bit of, I'm gonna like listen to some folk music, try and brainstorm like the origins and the topic that I want it to be about. It's also, since my story is Greek mythology, it's probably going to include like allusions to a Greek hero or something like that. So that's what I'm working with, and that's in chapter 22. It does, I think it comes back like another time, so I'm going to put that in a different, like I'm putting my notes for this song in another Scrivener file so I can just go back to that Scrivener file and like copy and paste and be like, that's the exact the exact lyrics. Nice little break from plowing through chapters. I'll see how much progress I can make. Okay, so it is currently 9:47. I have officially hit the 2-hour mark of this challenge, which is halfway through the first chunk. I think that I'm going to shift gears a little bit and read through some chapters. I realize that my method of revising is not typical, I guess. I have notes on everything up to chapter 24. I'm currently on like putting the revisions into chapter 23. So I have notes on chapter 23, but I haven't finished chapter 24 because it's actually really long. There are a few chapters in this draft that I'm like, I need to split up into 2 chapters probably. There's chapter 16, which I talked about last video, and now there's chapter 24, which needs to be split up because it's like 5,000 words, and I think that's too much. Like it's really long. So yeah, I'm gonna read through some chapters and make notes. Probably let the cat in. She's making a racket. I just wrote like a really kind of funny scene. I don't know why it makes me laugh so much when my main character like goes off on a tangent and is like, I feel dizzy. So just like, she's like, that was a lot of information. I don't know what to make of any of it. Like, yeah, that's a mood.
Wait a tick. Basil, if I travel back to 1969 and I was frozen in 1967, presumably I could go visit my frozen self. But if I'm still frozen in 1967, how could I have been unthawed in the 90s and traveled back to, oh no, I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that. I think I'm getting writing delirious. Officially, wait for it. Come on. 4 hours. Crazy. Been writing for 4 hours, revised 4 chapters. Whew. Okay, so I think it's lunchtime. I'm gonna stop. I'm stopping the stopwatch, and we're gonna start another one after lunch and something of a break. The fact that I had some chapters that were way too long and I needed to break them up into 2 chapters, I just did that, so that added a total of 5 more chapters, but it's more manageable. Like when I was trying to do chapter 24 and like reading through it, I was like, holy crap, this is a lot. I was like, how long is this chapter? Jeez. So I think it's definitely gonna help now that I have shorter chapters. The thing about having these big chunks of time is I'm like, does that mean you're literally actively writing for 4 hours? Because that seems kind of crazy. Like, I don't know. I think for me, it's very, like, the intention is to write. And you're not allowing other distractions. So I do have music on, but I'm not allowed to, like, go on YouTube. Unless it's, like, for research. If I'm doing, like, brainstorming, like, for the song, then that's okay. But everything has to have, like, a tie-in to my writing, as opposed to like you can just do whatever and say it's research. But this is research, I promise, it's research. But yes, it does become quite tricky when it's this long, and I'm like, okay, so if I get tired, then I'm just gonna listen to my music and stare out the window. hour and 45 minutes away from being done for the day. It is 3:45. And I have just completed my goal of reaching chapter 29. I want to finish chapter 28, get that done. And yeah, I still have an hour and 45 minutes. I think it's helped that I split up a bunch of chapters, so a lot of them are shorter than they initially were. I did change tactics. I'm not taking notes on the chapters anymore. I've found that kind of slowed me down now. I do think it was helpful with like the overarching like plot holes, but I think I've figured those out in my brain so I can just mentally be like I can catch it instead of having to like take the time and be like, okay, I need to write this down. There's too much to fix. I think it's when there's like so many like inconsistencies or additions that I need to make that I need to take notes. And so there's less to work through, which is nice. I'm not sure what I want to do right now. I think I can work on the manuscript, I can work on the folk song, or I can work on outlining book 2 of this trilogy. Those all qualify as writing. So, still qualifies as 8 hours of writing. Ridiculous. Well, guys, we've officially, well, at least I've officially, I don't know if you guys were writing along with me, but I have officially reached 8 hours of writing today. As I said, 8 hours of writing. 8 hours of not scrolling and being like, right. Look at it. Look at the paper. Look at the screen. And I am surprised that I don't feel burnt out, honestly. Definitely the last hour was a bit more of a struggle. I finished revising 9 chapters, which is crazy. I am curious if I do this like when drafting, aka like writing words from scratch or from an outline, how much I would actually get done, because I think it is a very different experience when revising doing this, because you're going back and forth from reading to putting in new stuff, so it's kind of there's more newness in a way. That doesn't really make sense. There's less newness because you've already written the core of it. So I'm going to call it for today. I'm probably gonna just like lie down on my bed and be like, I need to watch some YouTube. But that is the end of day 1. I am going to try and do the same thing tomorrow. I think I'm gonna go to the library tomorrow. Maybe. It might be a problem that my brain doesn't want to turn off now that I've done like 8 hours of writing. But I was having a thought and I wanted to share it. One of the things that I've been thinking about when it comes to like listening to Brandon Sanderson's lectures again, there's something about character, and after reading Mistborn Era 1, I feel like it's really interesting trying to figure out how characters can look different, especially in fantasy settings. And I'm kind of struggling with making my characters look different from each other, especially like certain characters. I'm not gonna say who, but it's like, okay, how do they look different from each other? I don't know. And it kind of takes me back to like being at like art school and I've been wanting to get into like character design, but I find it really hard. I don't know. I'd be curious to try and do my own like character art and try and make each character look distinct from each other. Because especially when reading fantasy books, like the ones that I'm currently being inspired by, like Six of Crows and the Mistborn trilogy, all the characters look very different from each other. And I am just like, I'm intrigued of how to do that. I think describing characters is really tricky for me because I was doing screenplays, and so it's like you get a few words to describe a character, so choose them wisely. And so having more time to describe a character is like, I don't want to like describe them too much. So yeah, I'm curious if any of you guys have that problem, or if that's, I don't know. I think that's my little check-in for the night.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Good morning. It is Thursday. I don't know what number. March 26th. And it's day 2 of this little challenge. I did do some drawing last night. I'm going to insert some pictures of what I did. I am really happy with how they turned out. It was kind of tricky. Giving glasses to one of the characters is like, okay, that's an easy way to just differentiate them. We're on for another 8 hours today. It's gonna be a little bit tricky because today is actually the day where my mom is making our Easter bread. So at one point I'm gonna have to help with that, but that might just mean that is gonna just mean pausing the stopwatch and starting it up again when I can actually get back to writing. I've decided that when I finish this challenge, I'm not even saying if, I'm saying when I finish this challenge and write 8 hours today, I am going to buy the box set for Mistborn.
It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine.
I really want to reread it and see how the characters were introduced again. I keep forgetting like how involved Sazed was in everything throughout the story. Like, he's such a present character. I want to be able to like study it and not have to wait for the audiobook to come back. I want to be able to like highlight stuff, so I'm excited. Once I finish this challenge, I am ordering the UK box set of Mistborn, Era 1. Okay, I'm trying to hold it at the same time. I think the ISO is too high. Hold on. There we go. That's better. It was too bright. Okay, so it is currently 9:05. As always. Need to hide the viewfinder from myself. I've got roughly 2.5 hours left in this block. I'm taking a break from revising. Still doing some writing related stuff, so the stopwatch is still going. But I'm doing something that I feel like I'm talking about Brandon Sanderson a lot in this video, but it is a Brandon Sanderson themed video anyway. So there was, hold on. I had music playing. There was something that I was listening to I'm not sure if it was one of the lectures or like a video on YouTube where he was talking about playing a game like when coming up with new ideas, where it's like the show Whose Line Is It Anyway? And he would like choose kind of random like ideas, like brainstorm things and be like, you have to include all of these. I'm kind of doing something like I'm building a section in Millinote that I'm calling Story Seeds. So it's going to be a place where I dump like random story ideas, like little fragments of story ideas, things that aren't fully fleshed out. Could be just like a character idea. Right now, I want to show you guys because it kind of shows like how kind of nerdy I am. My current one, I'll show you. My current one is this picture from a show that Colin Morgan was in. If you don't know who Colin Morgan is, what are you doing? Honestly, I was really into the show Merlin for a while, and I rewatched it like a few years ago, and it still holds up. I mean, there's a lot of queer baiting, but it's a really fun show. And so I did follow Colin Morgan's career for a little while, and I think this is from the show The Living and the Dead, which is a really cool miniseries. And I think it's set in like the early 1900s, late 1800s. And I really just like the aesthetic. And there was just inspiration that came to me with this picture. I was like, what's he looking at? And so, yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I think playing around with some new ideas is a nice way to give my mind a bit of a break from revising. So I'm going to play around a bit with this, see if I can come up with some other little bits of story ideas, and then I'll get back to some revising, because I do want to try and get 4 chapters revised in this 4-hour block. I think it'd be really, really cool to have like 4 done in 4 hours, and then another 4 done in the afternoon. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We have reached 4 hours and 15 minutes. I did go for longer this time because my lunch break, like I usually break for lunch from like work at noon and start at 7:30. So it's just how it worked out today. I got through like 4.5 chapters, which is pretty darn good. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to take a lunch break and then probably going to go outside. I do find that sitting for 8 hours a day is not great. I'm going to try and like maybe get like a workout in. I like to do like dance workouts, so I'll probably do that either for the movement around lunch or after everything. With my story seeds section, I did like put down a whole bunch of like random ideas, so I am curious where those are going to lead. I did find one that I am really curious about, so we'll see. I do have like literally, it seems kind of silly to be having the, sorry, I'm trying to balance the camera a little. It seems kind of silly to be collecting new ideas when I'm like, I'm on book 1 of a trilogy, and I've also got another project that I'm working on right now, kind of like on the side. But anyway, doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not toasting up enough. I'm too tall. Okay, so I just got back from my outing. It's raining outside. So I feel like I didn't walk quite as much as I could have, but it's about the same as usual. I do feel like I should spend my break standing up because I've been sitting for the last 4 hours and it feels like the right thing to do. I am very excited about what this whole experiment means, honestly. One of the things that I was curious about when doing this experiment was, one, if I could do it, and two, like how I would feel afterwards, and really like how much work I could actually get done in this amount of time. Because in the past, like, for context, in my early 20s, I'm 30 right now, surprise, surprise, I was working on a comic book. I was working on like a series, and I would literally be working on it all day. And I was like, where did that go? I feel like I just lost it to like social media. Like watch YouTube videos like all day. And so now that I've like I have an adjusted schedule, like Winston, intentionally, I'm giving myself the time to do that again. Since I'm filming it, it's like a double advantage. Because it's like, yes, the novel stuff will take a while, but also trying to grow an audience and build a community here on YouTube. So it doesn't feel like, I feel that when I was doing comic books, there was kind of this, I'm striving for something that will probably never happen because comic books are like a really hard industry to get into. Novels, granted, still kind of tricky, but there's less of a hurdle. And I want to go into this in a different video about like why I pivoted first from comic books to film and then film to novels, because I think that would be an interesting video to make. But anywho, I'm gonna get back to it. Take a little break and then get back to it. Let's write some more. I literally got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chapters left. It's crazy. I just finished helping with the Easter bread. It is currently, on my phone, it is currently 5:05, and I stopped at 3 hours and 5 minutes, which means I have another roughly 40 minutes to go in this challenge. I have literally finished more than I needed to. I have already revised like 9 chapters again today. We're gonna see what I can do for the next 40 minutes, and then we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. We're gonna finish writing for a little bit. I feel like I need to wash my hair soon because it's looking pretty greasy in this viewfinder. Sorry, I'm getting distracted by how much I need to wash my hair. Final stretch. Let's go. I'm like kind of exhausted, but also very energized by this challenge. I feel like that's a good place to be.
guys. I'm very successful.
We're taking off the headphones. That I just wrote for 16 hours in 2 days. Yep, that just happened. And I literally have 2 chapters left to revise in draft 1. So I'm going to call it for the day. I'm going to reward myself by ordering the UK box set of Mistborn. And yeah, that was freaking crazy. I don't know what else to say. I'm surprised that I'm not like creatively exhausted. So that's cool. I think this is a really good lesson for myself that I can do more creatively than I thought. Like, yes, I was kind of like drifting off at times, but having no distractions from writing and like intentionally being like, this is time to write, really, really good. Really, really good for the brain. So, yeah. I think I'm gonna clock out. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week with another video. I think I'm gonna do one that's talking about like this project and like the origins and where I'm going from here, what my process is gonna be going forward. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next week with another video. Bye. I'm pretty sure it's like the first box set I've actually bought. I bought like DVD box sets like for Avatar, but it's the first like book box set I've ever bought. I'm super excited to now have this. That's the end of the video. This is basically an epilogue. So I did want to mention that by the time this video is out, my Patreon is live, so go check that out if you want to hang out and talk about writing and or get some feedback from me on your writing. So I'll leave a link to that in the description. And yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys next week when I'm probably deep into rereading the first book. Bye.